Today we're going to be learning about how to find inverse trig functions. So you might remember inverse trig functions as things that look like sine inverse of some number or tangent inverse of some number. What they're doing is asking you to find the angle measure. But what this means is it might tell you a value, but there might be more than one angle that gives you that value. So you're going to find the angle measure, and in most cases, it's going to ask you for any angle between 0 and 360. So let's try an example, and then you'll probably see what I mean from there. So say we want to calculate sine inverse of square root of 3 over 2. What that's asking is what angles have a value of sine that is square root of 3 over 2. So what that means is we're asking for a theta where sine of theta gives me square root of 3 over 2. Well, there might be more than one example. So what you're going to do is draw a little graph. You know that your reference angle for this, if you look at the chart way back from week 1 of doing this, the reference angle that gives you sine is square root of 3 over 2 is 60. So I've got my 60 degrees over here, but I have 3 other sets of angles that also correspond to that reference angle. So I've got 60 degrees up this way, this way, this way, and this way. So let's see, what are those angles with a reference angle of 60? Well, that's 120. That's 180 plus 60, which is 240, or that's 360 minus 60, which is 300. So I've got 4 options right now that seem all pretty good, right? Because that's my reference angle. So it's going to have a similar or same exact value of sine. Now we remember all students take calculus. I know I'm looking for where it's positive. So it's positive here for all, and it's positive here. So my answers are theta is equal to 60 degrees or 120 degrees. Those are my 2 possible answers. They're not going to be 240 or 300 because for those, sine is negative. Let's try one more. I know this is a lot for the first time. Let's try tan inverse of -1. So this is saying what angles have a value of tan that is -1. The first thing you're going to do is say, well, I know that means they want a tangent of theta that's equal to -1. I'm going to go to my chart and find out the reference angle. So the reference angle that gives me a tangent of 1 is 45 degrees. Now I'm going to draw a little table or graph that helps me figure it out. So 45 degrees. And now I need to figure out my 4 reference angles, or angles that correspond to the reference angle. So I've got one here that's -45, plus 45, and minus 45. These angles are 135, 225, and 315. Now I ask, where is it going to give me a value that's negative? Well, if I have all students take calculus, tangent's positive here, so that doesn't work. Tangent's positive here, so that doesn't work. So my angles are 135 degrees or 315 degrees. So to summarize what you're going to do for inverse functions, find a reference angle. That gives you that value. draw a graph. And find the corresponding three other angles. And last up, you're going to remember all students take calc. So where is it positive? And then find positive or negative based on what the question's asking for. So there's a quick summary of how to find inverse trig functions.